Hi, everyone. This is Samantha. I'm the chair of the Legislative Liaison Committee with the Colorado Housing Coalition. It is the 6th of February. We are like 30 days into our 120-day legislative session. And I wanted to just bring a video update to everyone, kind of talking about what we've done so far, what we are watching, what we expect to see, and kind of what we've got up in our pipeline for the next couple weeks. With me, we have Sarah Windholtz, the past president of the Colorado Housing Coalition. She is also on the Lobbies Liaison Committee. Sarah, do you have anything you want to say before we dive in?
Nope, I'm excited for us to be able to give our membership an overview of what we've been working on.
Perfect. So this year we have 5 bills that we are actively monitoring, a couple that we are still passively monitoring, and 4 that we have taken positions on so far. We'll start going kind of least important to most important of the 4 that we've taken positions on. The first one that I want to talk about is an ESA bill. It is House Bill 261045. It's called Disability Housing Protection. Essentially, it's just codifying some ESA regulations that HUD repealed on the federal level over these last couple years. Colorado, just kind of like we did with the CARES Act last year, we're working to codify a lot of that repealed legislation. So we are right now in an amend position to see if we can ensure that our current checks and balances with approving emotional support and assistance animals are still allowable in Colorado. And then the next one is House Bill 261013, Utility Ratio or Ratio Utility Billing Systems. It's a RUBS bill. This is a fix from 1090 last year. It was negotiated with a lot of feedback from multifamily properties and the apartment association. This does not fix everything wrong with 1090, but what it does do is it will explicitly allow for ratio utility billing on utilities that you split, flat rate fees, things like that, where right now it's kind of a question up in the air depending on which attorney you ask if you can continue to do flat fees or back billing any of your residents for units that do not have a direct meter for your utilities.
So with that, Sam, I'll just bring up, so in regards to at least a couple that we are aware will still not be addressed as far as concerns, it's going to be those duplexes, those triplexes. If there is a security lighting or there is any shared common area, this will not address your concerns there. And it does not explicitly address mobile home parks either. So this really is a fix for multifamily as well as single family.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Perfect. So then moving on, I think no, okay. We'll do the next one is House Bill 261047. It is essentially an eviction suppression bill with some confetti thrown in on top. So what this bill will do is it will automatically keep all eviction records suppressed within the state of Colorado unless the eviction was for a substantial violation. And even then, if all parties agree to keep the eviction for that substantial violation suppressed, then they will be permanently suppressed. Just across the board, no matter what, even if you win, even if they trashed your house, even if there's $50,000 worth of damage on your property, all eviction records will be suppressed, with that one exception. In addition to that, there are a couple, like I said, bits of confetti thrown on top with this bill. The least bad of all of those is that this bill will prohibit property owners, landlords, property managers, housing providers from requiring any rent payments be made through a portal. So if a resident comes up to you and they want to pay their rent with a check, you must accept it. And it also prohibits you from charging any like payment processing fees on those paper payments. So if right now, if you charge like a $3 check fee or something like that, you can't, you would not be able to do that if this bill passes as introduced. The other thing that we are definitely working on with this bill is that it will require when you post any sort of demand or notice as required by Colorado law, you would have to include a copy of the lease with that demand posting. It is a full copy of your lease with some limitations to allow for personal identifying information to be redacted, such as a social security number, a driver's license number, things like that if you put them in your lease. In addition to the lease, if you are posting a demand for rent, then you would also have to post a full copy of the ledger every time without fail, no matter what. So if you have a resident who is habitually late and you post every single month, now you have to post your entire lease plus the ledger every single month on the door. There's no allowance for electronic delivery. There's no allowance for multiple times in a year. It's just full stop. And then also when you file for eviction, so the first time you post, you have to include the lease when you send it over to your attorney, and then your attorney files it in the court. You would also have to include the lease, the ledger, plus any additional documentation that is in your possession to justify the demand. So if that's payment for rent, if it's a demand for compliance, witness statements, neighbor complaints, whatever it is that you have to include that with your filing. If it's a notice to terminate tenancy, your owner's email saying, hey, I'm going to move back in, please don't renew the lease, all of that has to be included. With this particular section, there is no allowance for redacting information. So you must provide the full email, the full complaint as is, no redaction, no privacy, nothing. As of right now, the Colorado Housing Coalition is in an opposed position on this bill. Obviously, we don't like the fact that it would suppress all evictions. That does not bode well for the future of applications in Colorado. If you can't vet your tenant, you have no idea what to expect. Additionally, we think it's a little silly to post a lease every single month on someone's door, especially because you have to provide it to them anyway. This fixes a problem that does not exist. And then there are major privacy concerns about having to provide witness statements, emails, etc., in an unredacted way to a potentially belligerent tenant. They haven't moved out at the end of the 90-day notice. They're holding over. You're going to evict them. They're already not in good position for you to have that dialogue with, and now you have to release all of this information. So those are our main concerns with that one. Right now, this is, it is scheduled to be in committee on February 24th. So we will be sending out a call to action. We will be sending out a push for testimony. We don't know if this is going to be rescheduled. That's what we saw last year, was a lot of our bills kept getting rescheduled last minute. So please just keep an eye on your emails. Make sure that if you are getting these or you're not getting these, check your, well, if you know someone who's not getting these, tell them to check their junk, pass the word along. We do want to make sure that we're showing up in force on this one, because it does have so many bad aspects of the bill that we want to make sure are addressed if we can. Ideally, we would kill this one completely. So just keep an eye out, and then we'll see if we can work together and get it killed. And then the last one that I want to talk about today is House Bill 26-1036. It's local taxes on vacant residential property. Sarah, I know you've been working on this one quite a lot. If you want to give us a high-level update and tell us what we're in for.
Thank you, Sam. Just a reminder before I jump into the details, as Sam has alluded to, is that although we're giving you an update, things change very quickly at the Capitol. And so this video may be out of date the moment that we send it. So please check your emails, as we will be including the most up-to-date talking points, as there could be amendments that are added and things that change. So we want to make sure that you have the most up-to-date information. And we will be sending a call to action on this one. It was actually scheduled to be heard last Monday, and it has been moved to be this future Monday on February 9th. So we will be sending out additional information as long as it doesn't move again today. With that being said, so this is House Bill 26-1036. This is local taxes on vacant residential properties. And really what this is going to allow at a very high level is that it is going to allow for local government to impose taxes on vacant residential property. And with that said, it's also going to allow them to then create a regional tax authority to be able to begin taxing this. This will still have to go onto the ballot, and it will have to be adopted by different and various municipalities. With just saying that, that is one of our major concerns here. So this really will be the first of its kind type of taxation in which it really is moving from taxing property value, which is historically and is currently how these are taxed, to, in addition to that, taxing the use of that property and defining what that looks like. They are also carving out short-term rentals. We saw the same bill or similar last year, and really short-term rentals was the stopping point. They have proactively carved out short-term rentals. So currently it is sitting more of like that 6-month period. But ultimately, this is going to be targeting homeowners already paying property tax regardless of occupancy. And one of our major concerns here is there are legitimate reasons that homes may be vacant. So this is as simple as, a remodel, a major repair, estate transitions. Up here in the mountains, there's a lot of seasonal use or family use. It could be caregiving or life changes. It could be lease turnover or market timing. They could be preparing it for sale. Or as our market has shifted, it just hasn't rented yet. We've done all of those things and we're seeking that tenant. So this bill would penalize ordinary and lawful ownership decisions. It is not going, in our opinion from the CHC, this does not create a reliable housing supply. So this isn't going to solve the issue of adding additional units that were not already on the market. One of the main sponsors of this bill, Representative Velasco, so that is up in Garfield County, Eagle County, Pitkin County, as it's carved up in different areas. The rentals that they would be targeting those owners are not going to select to place those on the rental market as long-term rentals. If they already were interested in that, they were doing a short-term rental, which has already been carved out. So this is targeting a very specific population. And ultimately, this will create a lot of complexity and really destabilize markets. If you have different jurisdictions selecting different rules, different definitions, different timeframes, that really makes it very complex of when you will be taxed and how you will be taxed moving forward. So ultimately, that is an unstable funding model. As everybody is aware, the state is short on funds. And this is one of those pieces that they are creatively thinking outside of the box in order to be able to bring additional revenue. But units are going to be hopping in and out of this. So tracking this will also, I think, create a lot of unintended consequences. And just like anything, once we create an additional regional taxing authority, the use of that taxing authority will increase and not decrease. It will be something that stays around historically. So this is kind of the first stepping stone. So we will be sending out a call to action. Your testimony absolutely matters. And so with that, in person is always preferred. That is very difficult, especially for those on the western slope, but even where Sam is at, the travel time is extensive. So with that being said, there's also the Zoom option, which is very helpful. And then if Zoom is not available, and just remember, it's just a 2 to 3 minutes, and that is determined by the chair of the committee will set and determine what that time frame will be. If you cannot do either of those, then we ask that you submit a written testimony, and that will be distributed to every single committee member. So they will be able to read that ahead of time, and is still very effective. So this will be something that we do send out. It has been moving quickly. It is starting in the House, and it will be heard by the Housing Committee next week if the schedule remains.
Perfect. So we are going to close this video soon. One thing that I did want to make sure everyone knows is that the definition of vacant property will be determined by the locality or the municipality. So Denver City and County might say if it's unoccupied after 90 days. El Paso County might say if it's unoccupied after 365 days. So there's no way for us to predetermine what vacant property means because this bill very explicitly says that that will be determined by the municipality. So we don't know what it means. We don't know if it will affect all of the vacant properties we currently have on the market. We don't know if it will affect any properties that you guys are listing for sale or you may be considering listing for sale. We just don't know. So there's not a lot of clarity around this bill, which is another reason why it's a major concern for the Colorado Housing Coalition and why we are actively opposed to it. So
Absolutely.
If you got any questions, please reach out to anyone on the Colorado Housing Coalition, any of our board members. You've got a couple of our emails in our monthly newsletters. Please just reach out and just ask what you can do. If you've got any questions, we're happy to chat about all of these bills extensively. This is what we do. This is kind of a lot of us have a passion for it, as weird as it is. But we're always happy to spread information and just shed light on it. What is it? Democracy dies in darkness. So let's make sure that we shine lights everywhere that we can. And then feel free to spread this video, spread the message, share our talking points with anyone you can, invite people to come and testify with you. Like Sarah said, it's absolutely crucial that we do show up in force and your voices matter more than us because they know who we are, and legislators are happy to ignore the Colorado Housing Coalition, but they're not happy to ignore you as an individual. So your message is absolutely crucial. And then with that, kind of looking forward to what we have on our calendar. We do have an upcoming membership event. It is on February 18th. That is, I believe, it's a Wednesday, February 18th. We will have our legislative reception. This is at Maggiano's in Denver on 16th Street. You guys should have gotten a couple registration emails. I would encourage you, please come. The food's delicious. There's no pressure to do anything. We are inviting legislators. You might see some staffers there. It's really just a meet and chat while we are in session. We just want our members up in front of all of these legislators just to talk, just to chat, share the message, but do it over, I don't know, some pasta or some beef or, whatever it is that we're going to serve up there. It's a really wonderful place. It's a good atmosphere. So just come and enjoy and talk with each other, talk with your legislators. If you know you can't come or won't be able to attend, please email your legislators anyway, your senator and your representative, and ask them to come and talk to those of us who will be there. Just invite them. We're going to be competing with other events. We really want ours to be very well attended. So please spread the word. Again, if you can't come, invite your senator, invite your representative anyway. And let's really make sure that we do show up in force and have just a really good night. So more information in your inbox. Like Sarah said, we will be sending out calls to action. We'll be sending out testimony talking points. If you have any questions, please let us know. Everything is bound to be rescheduled at the drop of a hat. So if you're ever unsure if something is on the calendar or is not on the calendar, you can always reach out to me. Otherwise, we will do our best to keep you guys informed. Sarah, any final thoughts?
No, I just, we can also include Sam in the link so that everybody who is watching this video can look up who their senator and their representative is. I know that we don't always know that, but sending that information to us along with your registration would be very helpful so that we can also make sure that they know their constituent is coming because they may make an appearance or they may send a staffer. It's also great just to talk to other CHC folks, ask questions about bills, and to just share in the camaraderie. As well as our lobbyist will be present. So if you have questions for him. So we would love to see you. This is a great event. And thank you, Sam, for putting this together today. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. We are going to try and do a couple more of these videos, hopefully once a month, schedules, allowing. That way you guys you'll get the monthly newsletter, which went out a couple weeks ago, I think, for January. And then you'll also be getting one soon for February. That will have the full update, but we just really want to highlight some key points and key things that we're working on and fighting for. Because there's a whole group of us behind the scenes that are really working hard to make sure that rental housing within Colorado is protected as much as we can and just get common sense regulation passed. So if you're not a member and you're watching this video, I would encourage you to go to the coloradohousingcoalition.org, ask a member, reach out to, if there's a link that you were sent with this video, please, we would love to get your support. We'd love to get your volunteer. Honestly, we need your money. So even if it's just a one-time donation, a small monthly contribution, whatever you can do, that helps us be more successful. Money talks in politics, and it's unfortunate, but it's the way it is. So the more money we have, the more members we have, the better off we are, the better our bargaining position is. So anything you guys can do to help helps us fight the fight a little better. So we appreciate it.